and about 6 o'clock, and you were out of practice that day. And you called me. I said, Jay, what's going on? I have valley fever, and I started to laugh on him. I said, what the hell is valley fever?
Trust me, it was a weird experience at spring training because they didn't know what it was, and I, not knowing what's inside of you and causing you to have, a sickness-like illnesses without a diagnosis is kind of a scary thought. And but yeah, it's fungal spores that are dormant in the sand or the dust in the desert, and during like a big storm or a haboob, those particles get lifted up in the air. And I happen to be going to my father's house to eat dinner and got out of the car and ingested a bunch of dust, and then I got basically fungus in my lungs.
Special edition of Amazing Conversations with former Mets first baseman Mr. Ike Davis, and for one afternoon in a hospital, my personal doctor. I will tell you the story. So, Ike, thank you for joining. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Jay.
So, September of 2011, Mets come back from a road trip. It's raining. We have a doubleheader schedule with the Atlanta Braves that day. I run to the car in my rain, step in a pothole, and I can't get up. I'm lying on the ground. People said I was drunk. Nobody came to me. You take it to the hospital for special surgery. The doctor says, this is going to be painful. We're going to snap your ankle back into place. And guess who's there helping him snap the ankle back into place? One Mr. Ike Davis.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that, Jay.
Was it legal?
I think what happens if we broke your foot?
Well, I remember it did hurt. It was a snap, and it's been now 13 years, and when it rains, it still hurts today.
I'm sorry, buddy.
But we did a good job, though. I gave you no pain. So that year, unfortunately, you had your own ankle problems in 2011. In May, in a game against Colorado, I didn't make the road trip, and there's a pop fly. Pelfrey, you, and Davis, and David Wright, and you hooked on to David, and somehow you hit your ankle.
Yeah. Well, yes, that was not a great description, but yes.
Was it a great description?
I mean, yeah, we ran into each other in front of the pitcher's mound in Denver. Pelfrey was pitching. We blame it on Pelfrey because he didn't call.
Why not? Blame everything on poor Mike.
Yeah. He didn't call anyone's name, so we thought we both had a chance at it, and then we ended up running into each other. And I microfractured my left ankle, which I still feel when it rains, Jay.
But unfortunately, it didn't heal. I mean, you didn't play again the rest of the year, right? You had 36 games.
I mean, do you remember Amari Stoudemire?
Yes.
You remember how explosive and awesome of a basketball player he was before he started getting knee injuries and stuff? Well, his first real bad knee injury was microfracturing his knee. And that basically means you take all of the cartilage, or you take a chunk or a hole out of the cartilage in between the joints. And then it's in that area, it's bone on bone at all times. And in your ankle, there's less space than in your knee. So microfractures are bad, period. But in the ankle, I found out is not a very good place to have one.
And it worked, unfortunately, because that injury, that was your 2011 season was over then. But you know what? You had a couple of great years with the Mets, 2010 to 14. Your rookie year, 19 homers, 71 RBIs, 33 doubles. In 2012, 32 home runs, 91 RBIs, 26 doubles. I mean, really, do you ever look back and say, in addition to the ankle, you had some of the kind of the most screwed up illnesses I've ever heard of? Remember, one day I'm sitting in Chili's, and about 6 o'clock, and you were out of practice that day, and you called me. I said, Jay, what's going on? I have valley fever. and I started to laugh almost. I said, "What the hell is valley fever?" So
You
it's
had to be
something like
Jay. You had to be in Port St. Lucie if you were eating at Chili's.
I was. I have a table.
Yeah.
I had a table at Chili's, but but I mean, what I mean, valley fever. Who gets that?
People from the Sonoran Desert. That's who
From
gets
the
it.
valley.
Yes. Yeah, it's like trust me, it was a weird experience at spring training because they didn't know what it was, and not knowing what's inside of you and causing you to have, a sickness like illnesses without a diagnosis is kind of a scary thought. And but yeah, it's fungal spores that are dormant in the sand or the dust in the desert, and during like a big storm or a haboob, those particles get lifted up in the air. And I happened to be going to my father's house to eat dinner and got out of the car
Yeah.
and ingested a bunch of dust, and then I got basically fungus in my lungs.
But you recovered to have a great year, a solid year. It's a solid year,
Yeah,
statistical
it
wise.
so it the one thing they've been doing a lot. There's been a lot more information coming out about Valley Fever, and the more information that comes out, the way I've felt and how my felt the rest of my career kind of made sense. It doesn't really ever go away. It kind of somewhat starts acting, I think, like a autoimmune disorder, and yeah, so that kind of stuck with me. I still don't feel the same. Like once I had that, my internally my muscles and my the fibra that surrounds my muscles were different, and it just felt tighter. And if I worked like I did before I got valley fever, I would get sick or I'd tear muscles. So it made it harder to train the way I was accustomed to training.
Well, while on 2012, we're part of two big events in Mets history. Played first base when Johan Santana pitched the first complete game no hitter. What was it like being on the field after he struck out Freeze and the excitement in the locker room? And tell the people who don't know what kind of guy Johan was or is.
Johan was awesome. I got to spend a lot of time the year I got injured down in Port St. Lucie. We'd go fishing together um, 3 times a week, and he's just a really good guy. He was always you know hilarious, upbeat, positive. But yeah, on the field that day, I was more just nervous, Jay. I didn't want to I didn't want to mess it up.
Well, you did, and I mean, it was excitement. After all the good pitchers the Mets had, Seaver, Gooden, Kuzman, David Cohn, he gets the first one, and the other part, and when R.A. Dickey won his 20th game against the Pirates, you actually hit a home run in the second inning. What do you remember about being on the field with the knuckleball and the whole R.A. Dickey phenomenon that
Oh
year?
man, honestly, like the year RA did that, I actually I did have a little input on some of those wins because I think I hit some big homers on a lot of days that RA pitched. And um, every time he pitched that year, or really any time that RA pitched in general, it was it was exciting because he worked so fast that we knew we wouldn't be out on the field for 5 hours. And he worked so fast. He kept his defense involved. He kept the game moving, um, and he was. I mean, I got to face the knuckleball when I got traded, and RA's knuckleball was a different. That was a different bird.
Yeah, he was a fan favorite. His story, gave up a lot of his bonus. They didn't have a ligament in his arm. Came back at pitch at a late age, and another, across your infield. What was it like catching balls at first from Reyes and Wright in the years you were there?
Oh man, those are legends. So growing up, obviously they're not that much older than me, but in baseball terms, watching them in the big leagues when I was in like end of high school, like just starting college. Jose was possibly like the most electric, exciting person I ever got to watch, and then getting
How
to
about his
play with him.
triples?
Oh man, I wish I could run like that. I might
Yeah,
still be playing.
It's
but
true.
he was a special athlete, another great human being. Uh, One of my favorite people. And then David, obviously, it was like I learned a lot on how to, I guess, act as an adult baseball player and how to be professional and because he had David had a lot of pressure on him the whole time as the face of the Mets, and he handled it like better than anyone probably would. So
No, he always a stand-up guy. A couple of things I remember about you is that, I don't know, was it successive games, your tumbles into the photographic pit to catch balls. One might have ended a game or two. Were they back to back? I just forget the exact sequence. I mean, with a very short time, you went tumbling twice into the photographic
I
pit
think it was 3 times, Jay. I jumped over the
three
fence.
times. That's a Met record, by the way.
Well, that's good.
Three.
I don't think they could. I don't think they could do it anymore with the Nets.
No, no, but I mean, that was pretty crazy stuff. Was it right in succession or it was in a short period of time, wasn't it?
I think it was. I don't know if it was 3 games. I know like maybe two of them were very close, but I don't think it was 3 straight games I did that.
Well, what do you remember about your upside down bobblehead
It's from Brooklyn.
for Brooklyn? Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I
Pretty
still
good.
have one. I still have one.
I mean, that's. I mean,
It's
the other
unique,
thing
I
was
guess.
what's
It's
that?
unique. It's unique, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, nobody gets it upside down, and the signs. I don't know what your political party is, and I'm not gonna go into that, but I remember the "I like Ike" signs around the
Yeah,
yeah,
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower.
Yeah. No, that was
That
cool. It's funny. I was given I got Eisenhower pin from my grandmother before that even started. So I always had that kind of slogan um, my whole life.
I did. Do you ever look back in like at 13? You hurt your oblique right that year, and you got
Yeah,
sent to the minors for a little bit. Do you ever look back and really you're just a young guy, 38 years old now? Do you ever
37.
look back? Yeah. Do you ever look back and say, like with David, David probably should still be playing.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. When you decide to sign up to, play sports as a career, you don't have the luck of getting health or staying healthy or having the right things happen at the right time to play for 42 years or like till you're 42 and that's just not realistic to think that that's going to happen or be upset if it doesn't happen because just getting to the major leagues, like a lot of pieces had to fall in the right place. Yeah, I had to stay healthy enough in high school or college or in the minors to even then get a shot and stay healthy enough to play, is just 6 years like I did.
And then
So
he,
it's
unfortunately,
I'm grateful versus you could look back and be like,
no,
oh yeah,
I hear you.
you know
Do you. So how disappointed was it when you got traded in April of 14, leave the Mets after,
I don't
being there
know if
for.
it was disappointing because at the time like um it just it wasn't the greatest environment to for me personally, I guess. Um, I loved obviously my teammates. Like it was hard. It was the only organization that I had ever been with or wanted to be with. And then all of a sudden that's over. It's starting new. It's like going to a new school. It's like a little intimidating. But at the time, like Duda needed to play. It wasn't doing him any good having to you know and especially the media, like you guys, that's, I mean, selling a lot of papers, um, but it wasn't a great environment to be in for the team because it was just a lot of chaos about uh, you know
Yeah.
me for no reason, like so get get a new start, fresh start. It was
And then you
needed.
had some nagging injuries after you left, right? After when you went to Pittsburgh and
Well,
the hip.
I stayed. 14 was really like the only season besides 2012. And my rookie year, I was healthy. 2012, I mean, I was somewhat healthy, but got valley fever. And then 14 was another healthy year. So I actually stayed healthy that year with the Pirates. But then when I went to Oakland, um, a bunch of different, injuries came about because, stemming probably from my ankle stuff and all that stuff. So I had hip surgery at the end of 15. So I missed, and then I tore my quad that same season. So I missed a couple months and had hip surgery like
I,
before the season was over.
no one have a better perspective on Ohtani than you. In high school, a great hitter, 23-0 in high school. Went to Arizona State, great hitter. Pitch, winning record, a lot of saves. From afar, what do you? How much admiration do you have? I know now he's not pitching this year. What Ohtani has done on the major league level, pitching and hitting, in the same year.
I mean, I it's hard to say I've ever seen something like that. Like I didn't get to watch like Babe Ruth do it. Um, but when you throw as a starting pitcher, 7, 8 innings at 97 up with a good mix of off speed, and then you can hit the ball like he does and run like he can and play defense like he can. Um, I mean, he's a freak, that's for sure. Like that would have been fun to do. I always wondered if I would have if I could do the career over as a pitcher.
Did you try
Um,
that at the end for a little bit? No.
I mean, I did, but I didn't. I threw in rookie ball for 6 innings. It was fun, but I didn't go back in 18 to
Like
try to do it.
your father Ron is a good friend of mine. Through we keep in touch as a former pitcher with the Yankees, some other teams. Uh, who was the best guy your dad ever introduced you to? I'm sure you were in a lot of locker rooms.
Oh gosh.
Is there one guy you remember meeting as a
Yeah.
favorite?
I mean, playing in the big leagues for parts 8 years, you get to meet a lot of just through that. But as a kid, going to old timers games at Yankee Stadium, the who's who of baseball was there. So I would have to say the coolest experience would have been jumping Joe DiMaggio.
Really?
Yes,
I would have
and
voted for Marilyn Monroe.
I don't know. I don't know, Jay.
Yeah.
I don't know what years you're talking about, Jay. I'm only 37.
I got you, man. But
Yeah.
he was good. He took time to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a funny story. I don't think I could do it because there's a cuss word involved in it. But
Well, we could bleep
um,
you, Ike, if you want.
okay, well, I was 5 or 6 years old. Um, I saw Joe DiMaggio in the tunnel, and I looked at my dad. I was like, "Dad, that's Joe DiMaggio." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Do you think I could get an autograph?" He's like, "Go ask him." So went up to him all shy and was like, "Mr. DiMaggio, can you sign my baseball?" He goes, "Get the F out of here, kid." And I put my head down and like slumped away. And then as I got like 5, 6 steps away, I hear a kid, who's your daddy? And I was like, Ron Davis. He's like, get your ass over here.
That's
And
funny.
and he signed the ball. So I
That's
still got the Joe DiMaggio ball.
well,
And
since you keep it.
yeah.
Uh, I know my memory's going bad. If I remember when you first came up, weren't you friendly with a country and western singer? Went to Arizona State. Now it's pretty big. Who am I thinking of?
Lee Brice?
Yeah, wasn't he? I remember we went to some concerts. I mean, he he's a pretty big singer, right?
Well, I think you might be confusing me with someone else, but I had a charity event that Lee Brice sang at.
He's not the guy. I mean, I thought there was a guy. I mean, but
One of my college roommates is an actor in Hollywood.
I'm probably thinking of Lee Brice. You told me I want you to explain because I'm going to screw it up. tell the fans now, you're in Phoenix. What exactly are you doing now in still the prime of your career?
No, I started, not really knowing what to do after baseball. It's kind of a weird time of life because, like, your whole life you've worked towards one, goal, and that's, you know, getting as good at baseball and as you possibly can. And when the baseball's over, you know, it's 32 years of like work for it, and then it's gone. So I didn't really know what I was going to do, but my brother had been in a certain industry in commercial real estate for a decade, and he was always getting promoted and winning employee of the year, and worked his way up through the company and to like a vice president role. And I liked real estate deals because I had bought and sold some of the houses I lived in, and I liked that whole negotiation aspect and finding like a hidden gem or an undervalued asset or something like that. And in 2018, I asked my brother if he wanted to start working for himself instead of corporations, and start a family commercial real estate company. And that's kind of what we've done. So we're in the MH industry, manufactured housing. So we do a lot of like mobile home parks or RV parks or across the country. So it's been
Keeps you
good.
quite keeps you busy.
I get to travel, not quite as the baseball schedule, but I still get that lifestyle of I can go feel like I'm going on road trips every other week or so. So it's good.
You still have a soft spot in your heart for the Mets after all these years,
I mean, I think your first always has to have a soft spot,
right?
It's like your first love, but there's no taking away the time and the relationships and the experiences I got from living in New York and being with the Mets, and uh, that I wouldn't give it. I wouldn't change a thing. Maybe me and David don't run into each other, but that's about it. Like,
Huh.
nothing, no hard feelings. It was a different time in life. Like, a lot of that stuff wouldn't have happened today. Social media just was starting. Uh, no one really knew what to do with it or how it would work, or so everyone was terrified of athletes getting on social media. And I think that was like a lot of stuff that I got was you better not get on this because it's gonna ruin your career. Well, fast forward like 3 years later, I'm so afraid to get on these things that teams are looking for players with social media followers now.
No
So
question.
it was like I got caught in a total world change in view
Well,
of a new technology. So
you've always been a
it
good
was
guy.
interesting.
I'll never forget that day. I mean, I was in such pain when I got to the hospital that day, and it was put a smile on my face to see a friendly face helping the doctor snap my broken ankle back into place. That was
I
something.
did, yeah, I didn't enjoy that, Jay. That wasn't
I didn't
enjoyable for
enjoy
me.
it either. Like, to be honest with you, and I was lousy on. I don't know about you. I was lousy on crutches. I couldn't walk. I could always fell. I
Well,
had to use a
Jay,
walker. I could
Jay,
never walk on crutches.
why would you think you'd be good at crutches if you're
I
not
don't
good
know.
at
I'm not
walking in
coordinated.
general?
No, I'm not
How do you
coordinated.
think we
But
got in this situation to begin with?
no, I mean, I stepped in a. My excuse was I stepped in a pothole. So I wasn't trying to avoid a fielder. I didn't see the pothole, and you know, and I was going to tell a story. I might, I could cost myself, so I better not. But I appreciate you being there. Like, listen, you're a good guy. You're always here for me. I always enjoyed being around you. And
Jay, you're the first Mets uh, front like office person you're the only one I've ever talked to since I've been done.
okay, can I top you with one story? When I became the alumni director in 18, I was going through the Rolodexes. The first player we drafted was Choo Choo Coleman in
That's a
1961.
nice name.
Choo Choo Coleman. So I called him. I said, Choo Choo, Jay Horwitz, I'm the media guy here with the alumni. Anything you need? He said, you know what, Mr. Horwitz? You're the first guy in 52 years from the Mets who called me.
100%. I thought I was in trouble again. I got nervous.
52 years. I know old Choocher's not with us anymore, but I called him, and that's
It's
what I do. I
amazing.
try to rekindle old relationships, like
Well, I appreciate that, Jay.
All right.
Anything for
Seriously,
you,
and if you ever get to New York, I'd love to have you here, show you a good time here,
for sure.
and be healthy, be well, and good luck with all your real estate ventures.
Jay, you
Yeah.
honestly look the same. Like you haven't
Is
aged.
that bad though?
I think it might be.
Yeah. Hey, do me tell your dad I said hello, please.
All right, I will. Thanks for having
All
me,
right.
Jay.